That's where it starts. We are... All right, welcome to the Calling All Heroes Comics podcast. There's been a little bit of a hiatus as of late, and we're back, and then there were four. I'm George, and I'm joined today by Tim.
How's it going?
Walls.
Hey.
And Gary.
Hello.
The original crew here, and we have quite a bit to talk about. I think for the first time since the inception of the comic podcast, we all saw the same movie.
We did.
Infinity War.
Yes.
And there was great rejoicing.
Yeah, so we'll probably hit on that. Free Comic Book Day was last Saturday, 1 week ago, so we'll touch base on that.
Yeah, good time.
Walls has a really, really cool throwback in the world of comics from childhood to this week, right?
Yeah.
That book came out this week.
No, actually, it was the one before. 5 came out, so it was like, well, they were coming out each week, so it was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's post podcast, or now it's included podcast. No, I just thought it was cool. Like I've talked about my Uncle Lefty before, and I was first getting books. I remember they were all mostly some of the DC stuff was like Batmans and Swamp Things and things, but the Marvel stuff were all the monster reprints because he was into that. I don't know why. He didn't buy a lot of super. He bought like Werewolf by Night, he bought Tomb of Dracula, and he bought all the monster reprints. I don't recall him ever buying any superhero stuff except occasionally like a copy of the Defenders.
Really?
Which I like too. So it's pretty cool. But anyways, his Monster on Prowl, this is one of the first books that I ever handled as a kid, 15 center. And number 12 has Gomdula. He's a mummy. He originally appeared in Journey into Mystery comic, a pre-hero monster book. And but it was funny when I was looking through Venomized number 4. Of course, Kid Kaju's in it from Monsters Unleashed, and he can call back these old monsters. That was the premise of the story. And there's old Gomdula on one of the pages there. I'm like going, there's no way that could have ever happened. If I was, whatever, 1971, 9-year-old me is not going to be like, when I'm 55. He's going to be back in business again. I just thought it was funny.
That's neat.
I just like weird stuff. I'm sure other people are going, why is he even reading that book? Well, actually, no, it was in Venomized, which is all the Venom stuff going on the 30th anniversary. It's pretty popular.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was, what I would consider a mainstream comic, throwing something like that in there. It was pretty cool.
Venom stuff's been flying off the shelf. Venom, Carnage.
That one you told me to pick up, I wasn't going to get it.
Yeah, Venom number
Oh,
1.
The
man.
number 1?
Yeah, I wasn't going to get it. I mean, how many books can you buy? You can't buy everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, he's like, just look at the inside. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's going on.
Did you read it?
I haven't read it, but I looked through it.
Man.
I think all you guys bought it based on that.
To quote Tim Leese, well, I buy it because I collect it, but I would have if I didn't.
Yeah.
To quote Tim Leese, Ryan Stegman's tearing it up.
Yeah, tearing it up.
Well, and it's a perfect storm right now because the Venom movie's coming out. They've got Venomized, Venom, and then there was another title, Venomverse, and all three of those.
Edge of the Venomverse.
Edge of the Venomverse.
And then the Venomverse, then Venomized.
Yeah, and
like how many Venoms can you do?
But they're all successful.
Yeah.
They're all selling, and then you couple that with the fact that Amazing Spider-Man's hotter than it has been. I mean,
years.
I would say arguably since McFarlane. I mean, they're just flying off the shelves.
When Ramita was doing it, and when Andy Venom, that was probably the last time there was any real huge buzz on the book. That was in the that's in the 500s.
Quesada did it.
600s.
Whenever Peter Parker had to make the decision with the devil to save Aunt May, but he couldn't be married anymore to Mary Jane. Did you guys read that? Great artwork.
I remember
Quesada. Really?
I remember
about
the
3 or 4
story.
issue, great covers.
I think that was when I was on a hiatus for a while.
Yeah.
One of my comic book departures.
But
you're right.
With that, and then Spider-Man. And here's my little segue. Then Spider-Man in Infinity War was a huge highlight, I thought.
Yeah.
All the way around. But let's get into that. What do you guys think? And since Gary, you're the guy that usually doesn't see the movie right away.
Right.
We're going to hit you first.
It's my favorite comic book movie, period.
So far.
Yeah. Wow. And it was so well done. And you were talking about Spider-Man, where he's on a planet with, Iron Man, and who else was it?
Doctor Strange.
On Titan, I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Guardians.
Everything they did worked. When the Guardians run into Thor, it's like, who are you?
Yeah.
And we're thinking as comic book readers, wait a minute, who's that? It's Thor.
Yeah.
And they're, as usual, Star-Lord and his arrogance, like, who are you? It's
Well,
like,
nobody knew that.
That's only the God of Thunder,
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody knew. Nobody knew
But you
that.
would think Thor being, he just doesn't go, from Midgard to, up to Asgard all the time. You'd think that he would enjoy the rest of the universe once in a while.
Take
Fly around on his hammer for a while. Take a vacation.
A weekend.
But yeah, just everything about it, and and I've said that many times when I'm super critical. I'm not a critic of movies like you guys are. I do podcasts on them, or Donnie. But usually there's in a movie where you're going, say what?
Right.
And not once in this movie did I sit there and go, say what? Where it didn't make sense, where something, being a purist of the comic book, sat there and said, wow, and Thanos CGI was spectacular.
Yep.
I mean, just spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like he was on screen.
Yeah.
The whole storyline, and just putting all those people together the way they did.
There was a lot going on in that.
Yeah, whoever scripted this thing and plotted it all out was just genius.
I have numerous highlights, I think, but one thing that I really appreciated and liked the most was the brief little origin stories that went on, like about when Gamora was a child.
Yeah.
And that whole thing,
Little
just
bit
throw
of
that
backstory.
just to give people.
Yeah.
I mean, people that don't read comic books or are not aware of like these origin stories and some of this history. Just throwing that out there really was enough. It didn't really, and they were brief, but they were really cool. They were poignant. I thought they were poignant and very cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was really neat how they would tie and just throw a little bit of an origin thing in there, whatever they could do. Great.
Speaking of that, they threw in just a little bit of a love interest feel between Vision and Scarlet Witch, but
Yeah.
it wasn't overpowering.
It wasn't
didn't permeate the whole movie. It had a little moment,
And that's part of comic books right there.
Sure.
That's always been between those two.
Yep.
Right.
That's part of reality.
If you ever read the
And they're
Adventures-
making Thor a new hammer.
Yes, that was
I'm not sure how to say this. A gigantic dwarf?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
That's like military
I'm not going to be.
intelligence.
I'm not.
Is that like
two words don't go
is it like
together.
jumbo shrimp?
Progress
Yeah.
in Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Jumbo
not,
shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure how, but just to do
was
that, and
oxymoronic.
that was a great scene, where
Yeah.
Thor had to go up there. And like I said, I hope we're not ruining this for anybody.
Oh, if
So
you haven't
thank-
seen it by now, holy moly!
Yeah. We're not going to Austin you. We
Yeah.
gave you
Oh.
plenty of time. It's not like I waited 48 hours after a movie was officially released to give it away with no warning on Facebook. We're sitting here in a podcast.
You know, it's
I
hard
already
to,
washed the popcorn staying out of my shirt, so it's time to.
well, you know what? It's hard to explain to people that everyone knows this is a two-parter, but it ended very satisfactory. Where you're sitting there going, well, how's it end if it's a two-parter? It's like, well, any movie, whether the X-Men are battling Magneto, you know there's going to be another movie.
Yeah.
I wanted to
You just-
take a leak
you
and
just
reload my
know there's-
popcorn and go back and see part 2, though, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I was
That's what
ready.
I was like,
It's going to be a long year.
here we go.
See, my buddy James was in the minority. He said when that movie ended, I was like, they don't need to make another one. I'm good. He said he's like, I never read comic books. I got onto this when Iron Man came out. Like I've always watched those movies and I enjoy it, but I don't have any reference past this, and I'm starting to get superhero fatigue. This was a cool way to just be done. I know they're gonna be, but.
Right.
I'm good with this being the end note on this, and now let's maybe introduce some brand new characters and leave everybody that's dead. Obviously, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you know this.
I don't know how they're going to redo it, but I would think that anybody who has control of the Infinity Gauntlet could redo all that. Could bring people back.
Do you guys think though that there's certain
Yeah,
like
they're in the stones. Those guys, the character, I believe personally, the characters that turn to dust,
yeah?
they're not going.
I think Gamora and Loki are
I
dead
think
for sure.
Loki and Gamora are both dead.
And I
Well,
think
but
you
Thor-
got to have some people dead
Yeah.
in order for there to be any gravity.
And
to
the
any of
Vision's
it.
going to have to be recreated some way because
But that's no. Don't say that.
You remember at the beginning?
Don't
What
say
happened?
don't say that Marvel killed anybody off permanently. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Well, maybe not
'cause
even permanently.
We've argued this forever.
I guess I mean in this timeline. I mean they introduced the Young Adventures of Doctor Strange or whatever. Like obviously, I think he's coming back. But
he knows what's going on.
Like a perfect example, I had read that they had Gamora and they were signing the character. I forget her name, but the actress, they were signing her to play that character in 3 more movies. And I was like, well, she died. But then one of the things was that it was a solo thing, and it was her prior to the Guardians, so it's all prequel.
Right.
Oh, cool.
And so I don't know. I mean, again, that's all speculation, but that's what it said. So
Well, you heard Thor at the beginning of the movie whenever he was throwing down. He's like, well, Loki's been dead before.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that ultimately it'll be Captain America and or Iron Man will somehow sacrifice themselves. Like there's gonna be more death to bring back the people that died in this one. I think.
But somebody that I know that is into comic books, but not really necessarily Marvel, the whole thing, but likes the movies, said to me, and I agreed with him. He said, of all the Marvel movies, Marvel-related movies, he said that of all the villains, he likes Loki the best. And I think I might have to agree with him.
I I might have been on board with that right up until Thanos showed up. That's the most multi-layered.
Okay, well, up to that point,
Sure.
And I think he as an actor and a character might be missed because I do think he's.
Well, they couldn't have picked a better guy to play.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, no, he is cool and obviously like prolific because he's been in all these movies and has more power. But my personal favorite, if we're not counting Thanos, would be Michael Keaton as Vulture.
Yeah, well, okay, then you and I are in definite agreement there.
Yeah.
But I just, Loki's appeared, a lot more times.
Sure.
I think, and I sort of saw where he's coming from because he's a likable, he's a likable villain. He's a villain, but there's some part of you that goes, eh.
I don't know.
I did like when the Hulk tossed him around like a rag doll. That was pretty cool.
I guess everybody's favorite.
But he's a god. He survived. Or whatever.
Yeah.
That wasn't. That was like me getting hit by a car.
Here's a question on a semi-serious note. Do you think there was any kind of political or personal or agenda to Thanos wiping out half the universe because us ants keep multiplying? And we're doing it here on Earth, and eventually you're going to run out of food and resources and everything else. So, what are those things called? The Georgia tablets or tombstones or whatever they are? Those things that I saw in Ancient Aliens, where they don't know who built them. These are big marble tablets and stuff down south. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
And it said about, 150 million was the Earth's population by a certain year. And I know there's a reason why. Why do you think Thanos would want to take out half the universe? He didn't want to kill everybody like he does in the comic book.
It's random.
He wanted to kill everybody and then marry death.
Right.
In the comic book. That's where it led up in the series. It just...
Sure.
So he was wiping out everybody.
Yeah.
No one was to survive, just him.
It's touched upon and venomized, too.
But I'm saying...
The poison Thanos is
why do you think that, like I said, do you think the writers were putting something in there, like I said, or am I reading too much into this?
No.
Why would he want to take out half of the...
I think it's a fascinating angle, and I mean,
think it's
art
just
always
numbers.
imitates. Well, no, art always
I'm saying
imitates
why?
life.
I think
Why?
it's numbers because he said it. There's not enough resources for
Well, that's what I'm
everyone
saying.
to survive.
Is that...
You're
is
saying
that,
did that come from a real life situation?
Well, no, I'm just saying, did he write it in there and stuff as part of...
Oh, like social,
Well,
some minor social commentary.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
for
what I'm
sure.
asking.
Or a scientific commentary. It makes sense. The Earth, there's a lot of people on this planet that weren't on here before.
I was
it makes sense.
I was in the 6th grade 30 years ago, and then I remember sitting watching documentaries about how they give Chinese families subsidies as long as they agree not to have more than one kid.
Right.
So it's not a new idea. Like, I think it probably is some type of they pulled that from the real world because it's like a real
I'm saying,
issue.
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah.
I never read
It makes
the
sense
writers.
to me. I don't see.
Like, sidebar, the Solo movie, I was reading that the one robot that's in the thing that's kind of going with him, that he is like an advocate for robot rights. And I'm like, what? This takes place 30 years before the first Star Wars movie in 77. Not 30, maybe 20. 15. Like, that sounds like you really are trying to tap into social commentary on some way or make some political statement that there's a robot like advocating for robot rights. Good or bad, I don't know. That to me seems over the top, whereas this seems more like, hey, that's a real thing, and
It's possible.
you know what I mean. Like it seems a lot more subtle. Like,
Well, it's funny stuff because I'm sitting there watching the news, and I'm not here to be cruel or anything. But when you build your house near a volcano and you see it smoking all the time, that's probably not a good idea. Henceforth, people in Hawaii.
You mean like a major city in the United States that's about
No,
Hawaii
Hawaii
many
right
feet
now.
below sea level? 15 to be exact.
And there again, I'm not, like I said, you
Hell, Locust Grove.
but you build a
Let's head home.
You build a $10 million house out in California on the side of the hill
On a
where there
mudslide.
are mudslides and forest fires for decades, for centuries, and then you wonder why your $10 million house goes up in flames.
Well, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's nature doing what nature should
But that's
do.
what I'm-
Tornado
but
Alley,
That's,
yeah.
but that's what I'm
Nature
saying.
doing what nature should do.
Was Thanos doing something
nature
in
is
the
being
movie
Thanos.
that he was just taking care of business?
like George Carlin said, he's like, these people that build their houses repeatedly, generation after generation in Pompeii, then they wonder why there's lava in the living room.
Well, as I said, of people in Hawaii.
I had an
It's like
interesting
there's a volcano right over there. Okay, this is great.
Let's build a house.
Yeah.
Hey, the scenery's
on
great.
top.
We'll put up with this displacement every couple of decades. I had
roll the
somebody
dice.
that asked a question. online, so I don't know what I don't want to give away their name, and I don't know what their real voice would sound like, but I think it would sound something like this. It would be, why do you think that Thanos decided to kill off half the universe if he has all the powers? Why didn't he just make twice as many resources so everybody could live? And I was like, huh. And I thought about that, and my answer, I'd be curious to see what you guys think, but I think that Thanos ultimately respects the universe. And life is merely a byproduct of it. Life's not part of the universe. It's, in some cases, a virus.
But I also believe his power, to a certain extent, may be the greatest in the universe. I still think it might have some limitations to it.
Sure, but I think even if it didn't, like if I'm Thanos, I can see where it's like, it's not the universe's responsibility to deal with our gluttony. Half of you guys are piecing out. Like I'm not manipulating the universe. But because that's what he would hold in highest esteem.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair answer to that question.
Do you want to know? Well, it just makes it a happy ending. You don't. I guess to be quite honest, that's another thing I liked about the movie. Okay, it's probably going to resolve itself, and probably not everybody's dead. But you know what? It's sort of like it was a very unhappy ending. Except for Thanos, he seemed pretty satisfied with himself.
Yeah, he was. And he was my favorite character in the movie, so I was kind of on board.
He almost did the Conan thing, like at the end of Conan, where sort of sits on his throne.
Yeah.
Contemplating what he had done. It was sort of like that. That's what it reminded me of, and I really enjoyed that. But
no, I thought it was. I thought he was great every step of the way.
Strange gave the stone up too quickly. I think when he was searching the infinite outcomes and things like that, he struck upon something and didn't share it with anybody. He sort of kind of did, but I think
that's when he said, this is the only way.
Yeah.
But
yes, he even though he's a pile of dust right now, he's got something going.
We're in the end game.
Yeah,
we're through the looking glass here, people.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
cool movie.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about Michael Keaton doing the Vulture.
Yeah,
I read online. Now, if it's on the internet, it's got to be true. But
bonjour.
French model. The dude who plays Spider-Man,
Tom Holland.
Yeah, he said that every once in a while, he said to be on set and Michael Keaton, they would be like doing a fight scene or whatever. He'd be out close enough to whisper to me, like, "I'm Batman."
That's great. That's awesome.
I want that to be true.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, hey, let me see your tape. Hey.
Yeah.
It's like I saw Michael Keaton interview about Batman, and they were saying, working with Jack, and this is years ago, but he was talking about Jack Nicholson having advice for him. It was on Jay Leno, and he said, Jack Nicholson came over and he said, "We just need to work the suits, kid. Work the suits and cash the check."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You know what? I got to be honest with you. I was never a huge Michael Keaton fan, and I didn't really care for his portrayal as Batman. I didn't hate it. I didn't really. I know where I'm at with it, and I never really was much for him. But you know what? As he's gotten older, he has went from somewhere where I didn't pay attention to him that much. Even though I'm not dissing his talent at all, obviously, because he is somewhere on the very echelon of the top for me now.
Yeah.
That whole the Vulture, was it a Birdman thing?
Birdman.
He's just, as an elder statesman actor, I guess I don't mean
that's
to disrespect him. He's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah,
he's just cool.
That's a deep movie.
It is, and
deep.
I just like this dude is super talented, and I should kick myself because I was being judgmental. I apologize to you, Michael Keaton.
But I've always been critical. I thought Nicholson and Keaton I love both of them leading up to Batman. Mm-hmm. And I was so disappointed they picked either one of them.
Yeah.
They look. Michael Keaton's about my size.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a very big guy, 5 foot nothing.
No,
I thought it was that casting was terrible in that movie.
I didn't like the
just
movie.
Terrible.
I didn't.
Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I thought it was pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
I liked it.
I
left so mad.
But the Joker.
For the time, it was certainly enjoyable for me. I mean, it was for the time I was just happy to see something like that. I guess.
Yeah.
We've
had that conversation before.
We have.
You guys had to wait quite a while to get to that point. And I remember kind of walking in like, man, this Jack Nicholson's just playing Jack Nicholson with makeup on. And,
I was not a fan of his Joker.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a good job.
I think I'll take Cesar Romero anyway.
That's
paint on top of the old mustache.
Yeah, that's about the equivalent. That's how I saw it.
So at the end of Infinity War, whenever obviously after everybody dies, then it goes to the credits. I was kind of hoping that they didn't do an end credit scene. I thought that'll add an extra piece of finality to it. Like, wait around, and especially because they kept the lights down. I was like, oh, just keep the lights down. Everybody sit here for 10 minutes and then give them nothing. Yeah. Like, it ended here. Like, that would be cool. Yeah. But then when it came back and it shows him drop that little gadget, I was sitting there like, please be a 4. Please be a 4 instead of the Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah, the old FF.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been cool.
Is there any rumor of them coming back?
They own them now. Yeah.
That's going to take.
Are they part of the film?
The second one? I mean, again, it's the internet.
I haven't heard anybody say anything about the second film at all.
There was no inkling on.
I think they're going to be in it. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Because you sit there and you go, how about the X-Men? They're kind of sort of big in the Marvel universe.
I got a feeling Adam Warlock's going to show up in the next one.
That would be cool.
And Silver Surfer.
I have a strong feeling Adam Warlock.
If you're going cosmic, with
I have a strong feeling just
Marvel.
because of the whole story. I mean, if you read this, his initiation to the Marvel universe, and
so leading into that
with Thanos, and Gamora actually.
I wonder what they're doing. The new Infinity War Prime's coming out. Deodato doing. I wonder where they're going with all that.
I don't know. He did the.
That's why I always say I always got to put the movies aside when I'm reading my comic books.
Obviously. Yeah.
And I do it all the time, and I've been whining and complaining about it forever.
They had Infinity War Countdown that was like a 2-part story, and Deodato did the covers, but didn't do the inside.
That's what I'm saying. We already know what happens in the movie, so we just discard everything in the movie.
Did you see in the previews the guy that wrote the last part of Thanos, that run? Mm-hmm. Did you see he's doing the Cosmic Ghost Rider? Mm-hmm. He's writing that. That's going to be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to your point, I think it's one of those things where it's just two parallel deals. It's like at first it was Web of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, but they kind of like kept a basic idea of what was going on the same. But like right now, the perfect example is Walking Dead. The TV show is nothing like the comic. I read the comic and I watch the show. Comic's better by far right now, especially. But they're just,
I didn't watch the show. I haven't watched the show this season. Is it the season?
This season actually was decent.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I stopped watching it.
I would have after last season as well. I'm like, I can't give up on. I'm going to give it one more shot, and this season actually came through.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty. Cool.
I watched Fear. I watched Fear too, and I enjoy it.
See, I might be more interested in following Morgan now. I'm thinking that I will because I like that character. I think I'm going to be more inclined to maybe watch that to see where he goes.
Yeah, that first season of Fear the Walking Dead when the mom is like chilling out on a $500 million boat and still griping. I'm just like, oh, stop.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
I can't, whatever.
I didn't care for it either. But I do like Morgan, and I would like to see, I just like the character, so I like to see where that goes. I didn't watch that. I watched a part of an episode, and I was like, that looked all right. I saw all of what's her name's friends get grinded up in the
yeah.
I watched
the junk people.
Janice's all her
junk people.
Anne, I think is her name.
Yeah.
No, this season zombies were back, and Rick and Negan. I don't want to give it away because it's not long. It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'd say we're safe. I'll put a spoiler alert on the front of this when we post it because we talk about Infinity War. I think we can get up off of episode 9 of the last season of Walking Dead.
Yeah. But he hasn't seen it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Listen,
anytime you bring like the governor or Negan or any of these guys and stuff around, you want resolution eventually.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about, the Infinity War. That's why it's hard to tell people. It's like, this movie actually ends. Yeah. And if you never saw another Infinity War, part 3 and 4, you're good.
Right.
So
you may not like how it ended, but for once,
has he lost his hand yet?
No, I read that quite a while back. They waved off that entire idea.
Really?
Robert Kirkman said his single biggest regret in the comic is cutting off Rick's hand because it limits so much on their storylines.
Yeah, that's true.
And
he gets beat up enough. You don't need to lose a hand.
Yeah, that's true. I just wondered.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was coming, and I wasn't aware that was next.
Yeah, and it did end. If we can speak of it. It did end there again with a little satisfaction,
right?
With not so much of a big speech from Rick, but a good speech from Rick,
right?
I mean, I did. I mean, that's what they've been trying because through this season stuff, Rick and they do some pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah,
when they're like, yeah, just let us go, and we're like, Sorry about your luck.
I'll give you my word. I'll let you blah, blah, blah.
And it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to hear Rick give a speech about the way things are going to be moving forward, as opposed to the way we want to try to make things. It just always seems like he's reaching for, it's always a rallying cry, and now it's like more.
He
like,
says to the Saviors, like, "Come on back and be part of moving forward."
Yeah.
Regardless of what you've done before, and you've tried to kill us like numerous times. We know who you are, but just come on back and we'll
see where it's
move
at.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm pumped to see the next season. And I definitely wasn't. The end of the last season, or I don't know, maybe it was the midway point of this one. Was it the one where like Rick and Negan are literally fighting in the house, and one of them gets thrown out the window?
Yeah,
and
I saw.
Then they don't. Like, why didn't you turn around and shoot him? Why did you just run away? Like,
Right.
See, you know what? And I watched that. I remember seeing that going, I'm glad I'm not watching this anymore. That's what I thought. I'm like, going, oh, really? This stupid cat and mouse.
There's nothing.
Click to the next channel.
There's nothing worse when you're like a fan of comics or movies or TV pop culture when they know they kind of got you. When they got a hold of you, and now they can exploit that by milking it and dragging it out. And Walking Dead is a lot of that. Like, we're only going to give you a little bit. It's like when I was a kid and you'd go to the zoo and you'd go and you want to see like one of the panda bears, and like they just stick one paw out. Like, here's its paw. That's enough.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
Just a tip.
Yeah, it was.
All you get's a panda paw.
It was enough to keep you on there. Hey, gang, we're back. It was instantaneous for you, and count yourself among the lucky, because we just paused for about 3 minutes. A guy just walked in here. I don't even know.
I think it was a chicken sandwich.
He was literally eating a sandwich.
I think it was a chicken sandwich.
No, it was like a hoagie that had the lettuce sticking out almost in a cartoon-like manner.
He had it going on.
He looked like a chimney sweep.
Yeah, kind of. Hey, it's one of God's creatures, Sorry.
Exactly.
I'm with you. It's all good.
Moving on.
We really don't know how to segue.
We had a little fun. You had to see it. So.
Segue, you had to.
I can't even make eye contact with you right now.
Yeah. Kind of had to move on.
So Mr. Beer Can, give him the breathalyzer.
So is Wolverine coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back. Speaking of, there you go. Perfect segue. Milking the hell out of stuff that people want to see.
Yeah.
There's this Wolverine's thing right now
Hunt for Wolverine?
Yeah, the Hunt for Wolverine, but there's like 500 or 600 or 700 4-issue miniseries that are all tying together to do that.
There's really that many?
Maybe it's 200.
Okay.
But every week I'm getting one, and then it's just
So
like,
how can you hunt for Wolverine when he's already here as an older version?
Yeah, well, let me tell you how interesting it is. I get the books anyway, and I don't read them. I don't know, man. I just don't care.
Someone's buying them.
Yeah, well, I don't buy much of it. I mean, I get a very small sampling. Wolverine, in the brief time I've run a store, which is 2.5 years, Wolverine is probably at the top of the list of characters that everybody pays lip service to thinking is super cool, but it just doesn't sell.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't move. I don't move hardly any of it, and I order what people ask me to order. But if you're talking about just Wolverine, like back issues, doesn't go anywhere ever. Yeah. The Wolverine True Believers books, all of them have sat here longer than every other incarnation.
The Venoms flew off the shelf.
Yeah, they did.
Well, the thing about that too, which was cool, is a lot of the books that I thought that was smart, were books that were hot parts of Venom's history that cost a lot of money, and you could get them for $1.
Right, sure.
And that's crazy because what year is that? 90. When Venom come out?
90, wasn't it?
90 or 90? 88.
That's crazy because here we are.
Was it 88?
Yeah, 30 years.
30 years now, and he's now sort of getting a movie and exploding into the pages. He's had different miniseries over the
But he's always
past,
he's
now
always
now
around
he's
the top
everywhere.
of the water, though. I've always
Shows
heard
everywhere.
the books, the miniseries always sold pretty well. I mean, it's hard. I mean, you don't find a lot of back issues when you go in places, because I look around because I don't have them all. I have hit and run on.
How many issues was McFarlane on prior to 300? Like
2? No, 1. 1.
So you only
98, 99, then 300.
Okay. All right, then maybe that's where the loophole is, because I was looking at that cover to Batman 423 that McFarlane did with the Spawn-like Batman cape, and that book's 88. And I would have thought for sure he was under contract at that point, and I was wondering, Because that's why I was thinking
I think
Venom was
doing
like
a
90
cover or something like that. I think they were probably pretty cool with that kind of stuff.
at that point.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I know. The reason I'm being is I lived in Frederick in '88, and I remember it coming out because I frequently brainstorm comics. I mean, that
makes perfect sense. You said 30 years.
That cover that was just that. Well, Spider-Man reaching 300. That was, I mean,
Yeah.
and for the Marvel people, that was super cool.
Danny was in the basement store then, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That was a cool shop.
We used to hang out and play guitar and
And the 300's
see people
it's
coming up with
iconic.
real books that they wanted to sell. You know what I mean?
18
really.
issues away.
Yeah.
Oh man, that book. I'm telling you, those covers freaking rock every month. That book is so good. People are probably tired of me saying I don't give a crap. There's so much crap on the wall. Sorry, there is. That book's good.
Did you see about Spawn this week coming out?
Stop in and see the crap.
The cover, it was
That
something.
was me. I'm sorry.
Something about a celebration of anchors, of up and coming anchors, and they had the same.
Oh yeah,
The cover inked by
McFarlane did the cover, and it's inked by there's 8 of them, I think.
Yeah,
and it's cool,
And
and they're
what's-
all cool.
Here's the really cool part: is for a reasonable amount and not some crazy thing, I was able to get all 8 of them. So I got all 8 covers coming.
Awesome.
2 to
Guess
3
who
copies
wants
of each.
wants one of all 8 of them?
Yeah,
If it's possible.
What's the image?
it's a
It's a cool
McFarlane art.
classic McFarlane Spawn
And
with the cross in the background. Very clean, very neat. But it's what's cool is the colorists chose different color patterns. So
Right.
They're really. I saw them all out. 8 of them are out. They're really cool. And maybe call me a nut, but I would like to have all.
And the neat thing is then I also have the extra one, which is the McFarlane black and white one, where it's not colored at all. So, but yeah, there's 8 different takes, and man, those guys.
I couldn't like a book more right now. Seriously, I read
Really?
it every time. The story has gone in a really cool art. The storyline going now. The last storyline was great because it really exposed exactly science. A lot about her, and it was really cool. But now he's like, it's going back to Al, and it's like it's just cool. You read it, right?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just it's good.
Yeah.
It goes by fast. I'm reading the pages like trying to keep up with it.
Then you're
It's
done.
crazy. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I can't wait. That's the only book I honestly cannot wait to see the next issue because I find the story interesting.
Yeah, for me, Walking Dead's been like that. It's been real good. If you don't read it, it's a long story.
But the Matina painted covers, and always he's like basically utilizing like 3 colors, like gray, black, and green. I mean, he's basically it's not those covers are cool. And the only one I didn't get off you, I found one where it pairs both of them together.
Oh,
So,
really?
You know how it's white on one side there's actually one out there that puts both faces side by side, like the
Cool.
the skinned skull and the Spawn face. And they're just really cool.
How about that Savage Dragon?
How about it? It's out of hand.
It's way out of
It
hand.
should have MA on it.
Do you put that behind the counter now?
I ordered for him, and then I usually get 1 extra copy.
Yeah.
And
Because I keep looking, I'm like, I just like to look at it. Because I was picking them up. I'm like,
I usually
I
have it
guess
at the
he's
counter.
hiding it.
Yeah, I usually
It's in
just
the
set it at
drawer
counter.
underneath the comics, under the curtain.
Yeah. Have you flipped through that book lately? I mean,
I saw the
it's-
covers.
It's out of hand.
no, it's inside.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely.
It should be called Savage Porno.
Yeah,
There's a picture.
I would say that there should be, if it was a movie, there'd be an X on some of
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Oh,
it's out of hand, and
I
I
wonder
saw.
why it's going in that direction.
Well, I see increasingly more and more people are griping in the letters page. Have you noticed that, or praising it?
Yeah,
but
one or the
everybody
other.
has a strong opinion, and
The
he's,
Chips love it, and some of the other people don't.
yeah, and he's basically saying, at least what I gathered from Eric Larson's opinion, he's like, we're kind of taking it in this like kind of an exploitation kind of a flavor. He's like, nothing else out there right now is doing that, and
He's right.
and it's unique, and
He's
Yeah.
right about it as far as like a mainstream thing, but he's sort of, I would imagine, if you have a shop like yours where a lot of small kids come in, you can't leave that sitting out.
it's a book that I definitely don't set
You
out
can't.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
I would have never thought that. When you see the, I mean, for all, how many, 250, 60 issues.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that, I'm like, wow.
It's definitely taken a turn.
Yeah. I remember picking it
It's
up. I said,
definitely taking a reach around.
I
I'm
got
just
the
saying.
I got the page 7, and he's standing there. I'm like, George, have you seen this? I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, honey, have you seen this? He's like,
Would you
oh
just
my
look at
god.
Will you look at it?
I don't
I
think,
mean, look
I
at
don't
it.
think I'd be interested in reading that at all.
I think
I-
that you're
I've been
100% right.
I've been real clear.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
think
read.
you're down with that.
I don't read comic books for sex
Yeah, it's
at
not-
all.
yeah.
I don't think
I
you're
have
down
no
with that.
You're
interest
the
in
first person
seeing.
I thought of like Crane wouldn't like this thing.
When
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, these guys are superheroes. Of course, we expect all of our superheroes to have sex.
There wouldn't be any more superheroes if there wasn't.
Yeah, baby superheroes.
Well, the thing about the Savage Dragon, though, is I don't even know. It's not really a Truth, Justice, and the American Way kind of a book. I mean, it's telling a story. I don't have a problem with that per se. I think that there's going to be, it's not my thing. I don't buy it, and I used to buy it religiously. Mm-hmm. I mean, when it first came out, I think you and I talked about it every month that it landed. Savage Dragon, yeah, the original run.
One time I had I still have some of the issues. I like his artwork. I've kept some.
Oh, me too.
But I think I sold somebody the first 40. I think I collected it up into that point in time.
Yeah. Well, hey, jumping topics here real quick. Free Comic Book Day was this past Saturday, and a big shout out to everybody that came in. It was our single best day since we opened 2.5 years ago. Ever. I mean, better than the grand opening day, which was pretty crazy.
It was crazy. It was like being at KFC on Mother's Day, man. People were lined up. People were lined up everywhere. I was like, holy George.
I literally have never seen
George was. I saw George wiping the sweat off his brow.
He looked like he needed help. Well, we did have to help him there.
Fix the wall, stat!
Yeah, dude cleaned out all the Batman, the Silver Age Batman. They were all gone. And we're like, George is like, I need Tim. Yeah. And Walls was like, I better come too.
I had a customer that said, who did all this? We just sold 16 Silver Age Batman back issues to one person, so I asked Tim and Walls to fill it in. And it's like, you can definitely get a sense of their taste right here.
Stat. We filled it in stat.
We filled it in.
Yeah.
Stat wall.
All those ones you can handle, those goofy covers.
Yeah.
You sold all of them.
Every one of them got came in.
Going.
Because the two that I bought off of you are up on the wall right now.
There you go.
The Bat Auction.
You asked me how the Bizarro storyline was going. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily in the Superman book, but didn't want to take your Comic Book Day thunder. But
I already cast the check.
Yeah. You're smiling, sitting on a stack of money. The Red Hood story that Dexter Soy's doing right now, which is amazing. It's starting to come to a head. It's starting to get to the end of the storyline. That's pretty cool.
I've always liked Solomon Grundy and Bizarro Superman, and never really read a story where they seem to be fleshed out the way that I wanted it to be.
It's really good because Luthor's. You just have to read it. I'm gonna let you borrow it or whatever. But Dexter Soy,
on the cover.
Dexter Soy, his art
is a classic cover.
It's good. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but to have Alan Moore, somebody.
Yeah, Grundy was cool in Swamp Thing though. That was really neat.
To have him to write something on a serious note and be able to fully realize this character. Because there's always characters and stuff. You're like, man, you buy everything that he's in, but no one's ever got it right. Does that make sense? And Solomon Grundy's always been that way.
But Bizarro was actually intelligent here for a while. Mm-hmm. He was like me everything. Me this, me that, me fly, me this. It's like he was almost normal, and it's just a cool take on it.
Well, I like the
it was good.
Eric Powell art in the action, the Bizarro. Did you read that? It's like a 3-issue series. He did the artwork all through it. It's all Bizarro.
Cool. Soy reminds me of Powell's and stuff. I like it. So, pretty good.
Speaking of, I'd like to see him do something more consistently.
Hillbilly's been good.
Yeah.
That one issue, remember we whined
and
complained
about it?
Oh, the
3D? Yeah.
That was terrible. But everything else...
Pass on the 3D.
He's still one of those artists where you turn the page and you're like, wow.
How do you do that?
That is really cool.
Because
he does that color, that penciling and the coloring of it, and it's nice. It's real nice.
He did those monster covers. I'd put, if I had a wall, I have a couple things out. If I had a wall, I'd put all those up there. That was really cool.
You were talking about Comic Book Day and stuff. Wonder Woman was a big hit.
Yeah.
That was fun. Shout out to Julie.
Yeah, Julie's awesome.
Thanks for coming. I know you guys were disappointed you wanted to see me dressed up, but, Kramer.
We settled.
Yeah. We found a way to pick up the pieces, didn't we?
Yeah, we still made it happen.
Yeah.
I think those free cookies.
Yeah. Still got the outfit, by the way. Still got the outfit.
We had legitimately had over 200 people come through here in 5 hours.
Legitimate. What was
the legitability of it.
Legitability
of having 200 people pile through here.
It was not a small turd Saturday.
Well,
throwing it back.
Also moved about 3 long boxes worth of 25-cent books that needed to go. So it was a success all the way around. I ended up having about 1,100 books over there to give away, and right now I think I have maybe 60 left, 70 left. So gotten really lucky. This is between this and Batman Day and Wonder Woman Day.
Did you have people filtering in this week still looking for free ones?
Oh yeah,
because I know some people said some stuff on the page, on the Facebook page.
Yeah, and I'd reach out to them and say, yeah, come on in. We still got some books, and they're still free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how much cooler is that? Free comic books.
Yep.
Just the sample stuff. It may not be.
Yeah.
Actually, it is really cool. I mean, it's unique. It's a published, piece of material.
They've had Hellboy.
It's not like it's like one that you have like 200 of. We're like what? How many? 20 some different.
You said how
50
great
titles.
SpongeBob was.
50 titles.
I mean, that's
SpongeBob.
Oh,
how great that was!
That's it. You know what? That's going to be one of those ones that go up $1 million. You know how some of them do.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about that.
I always think that's neat too. Is that the free comic
Did you
book?
get a chance to read it?
No, they all left before I did.
You should.
One of us are going to have to bring one back.
Free comic book day is not immune to having books go up in value. In 2004, which I think we said was like the second or third year they'd done it, they had a Walking Dead free comic book day book, and that had some original stuff in it. It was like a little backstory thing. That's the only place you can get that book, and that book sells for like $10 or $20, and it was free that day.
I see some of the True Believer books with the Venom ones are selling for more than $1. I mean, I see people. I mean, one of them I think actually went. What is it? Did they second print? They might have even second printed one. I'm not sure.
Walking Dead did that with number 1.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, because that is a reprint.
Yeah.
Let's reprint the reprint.
Well,
Yeah, but it's on such nice paper.
Okay. What about Hulk? Was it 377?
Mm-hmm.
What's the rarest one? The third
printing.
Image First, they did Walking Dead number 1, and it was $1, and then they went back and reprinted it. But they did second print, third print, fourth print, fifth print.
Wow.
And that first print was down. It was at Ides in Pittsburgh. They had it, and it'd say first print $9, second print $5, and so it actually held a value on some level.
That's neat.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't put more original material in those free comics.
Yeah. Well,
as opposed to something that's going to show up later on.
Right. I think probably because I thought that myself. I think that free comic book day is primarily for people like trying to get people in the door that I've never been exposed to it. So it's like, why not offer tried and true stories that we know have worked or some way touch hit a note or strike a chord with people, as opposed to they already know they own us.
Unlike the
they're not
what's the one with the Stooges on with the
over Street Race Guide. Yeah.
That's like I said. That's a lost art because in the world of CGC, not a whole lot of people talk about grading comic books and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Not that, to some people, like maybe Tim, you don't care,
Well, I care. I just only can afford what I can afford.
Yeah.
There's a difference. I do care.
But I don't hear a lot of people talk about Overstreet Price Guide anymore.
No.
Because it's whatever's going on, and that was always the problem with Overstreet. You could get like the old musty ones and stuff, the old monsters, and they would be pretty much, unless something happened like Groot, it's not going to go up. But you wouldn't find those older ones. The big Overstreet, the annual one, was inclusive. It had everybody on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you have like the updates and stuff. And what was the other, like the Wizard? You go to find like Monsters on the Prowl or this and that. It's not going to be in there.
That's not going to be in there.
No.
Yeah. But on the internet, as you were talking about with eBay and all the other things, Comic Book Realm, where you actually have
pause. Yeah, pause.
What'd you pay $20 for?
8-9 years ago, I paid $20. It was an old Mad issue. It's Lena the Hyena.
Lena the Hyena. Wow, that's a classic.
Wolverton cover. But I was just telling Gary, I was like, when we were paused there for a minute, talking about condition of books and like what they're worth and stuff. It's worth more to me, I think, than my Amazing 300 because it's just like a personal. It's like everybody has their Grail. That's not one of my Grails, but it's one of those books that I'm just glad I have. I have.
You sleep a little better.
I do.
I'm with you. I've journeyed into Unknown Worlds 14, which has a Wolverton story in it.
Yeah.
And the one corner, the bottom right corner, it was either gnawed on by a rat or bugs because it's rounded off. It looks like a piece.
Yeah.
Like how like
silverfish.
The furniture that's made out of compressed board. Like it's sort of ratty on the corner.
Yeah.
That's what the corner of this comic book but the rest of the book and the art, and, I mean, the pages actually aren't bad.
Yep.
I got it for next to, well, it was like $30, but I got it because that book's like near mint. That thing's like $1,000, $2,000 book.
Crazy.
You know, I got it because of it being chewed on by bugs, and I treasure that book. I'll never, never get rid of that book.
But like I was telling Kramer, I literally put a pair of gloves on to like look at it. Would you look at it? But when I took it out of the Mylar, and it's just like you could almost feel it falling apart. Of course, you know you had to smell it.
Yeah.
You know, it smelled like the attic.
Oh, I
You
bet
know,
it
it's
had
good
like
stuff.
the aroma of the
Yeah,
gods.
good stuff. And then I read it once and put it away, and there it is. Yeah, it's there.
I was waiting for you to give us a whole list of things that you paid $20 for 10 years ago.
Negative. I
And
probably
that's,
could.
you know, that book is solely
Probably could.
exclusive to the cover. I mean, the cover is where the gold of that book,
Oh,
so
yeah.
to speak.
Yeah.
Not saying it's not on the inside. It's just that's the gold of
Yep.
that book.
This one's You Are Deadpool, number 2. They did the role-playing game box, kind of a variant cover. But what was really neat was the inside is even though it's glossy, they print it with little dots to make it look.
Oh, like the
when
old
I first
retro.
saw it, I was sitting there, I was like, "Is that newsprint?" And then the light caught it, and I found that it wasn't.
Does anybody know what year comics actually transformed from the original old
The newsprint?
newspaper print to like the gloss stuff that we have now? Does anybody know?
When the whole, I think
Anybody
when the
pin that
whole,
down?
when the whole image thing took off, I thought that's when most of the
Was
gloss.
Image on
That's
one
when I
glossy
thought.
stuff? There's,
I don't
there's
know,
your
but
homework.
I'll tell you what.
I
That's
thought that's when the gloss.
There's your homework.
That's the 6th thing on my list. If I get a time machine, I'm going to go back and find the Miles Dyson of comic books and assassinate him. So that they don't. Miles Dyson, the guy that came up with Skynet and Terminator. Like whoever the Miles Dyson is of glossy colored pages, because I would take newsprint every day over that.
That's definitely a step back in time, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
The only
The,
thing I
the,
can say is they'll last longer.
The Grand Design.
Yeah, the Grand Design did that.
Yeah.
That's
With
coming
the
back
newsprint.
next.
They're doing Grand Design. Yeah, the Grand Design 2 is coming back, and then they also said that they're doing one for Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Fantastic Four.
You figure that was gonna? Is he gonna do it?
Sweet.
What's that?
Is he doing it? Episcore?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
that's
they were
so.
It just
great.
said that those
I hope
three
so.
The
were.
next ones are coming out.
Yeah.
It just said those three are confirmed in the works. So I'm not sure.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
Well, the Spawns though, when the ones that are the newsstand edition,
yeah.
they were all on maybe not to the extent of newsprint, like lack of quality that they were when we were kids, but they're like that. They're not glossy. If you buy a newsstand edition, which a lot of people argue that they're very collectible because there's of the Spawns, they were only 10% of those were newsstand, so the other 90 were the direct edition. So to get a nice newsstand, a lot of people are collecting them now because there's not many of them, so to speak.
Yeah.
But they also, the funny thing, the newsstands do not have glossy paper because I have a bunch of them. They have like newsprint paper. It's interesting.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. Well, guys, as we come towards our close, did anybody have anything else they wanted to touch base on this week?
No, but that's our homework for next week. We got to find out when books change to glossy.
I mean, I know.
I'm telling you, I think it's in that early 90s.
Oh, real quick,
Early
Batman
90s.
White Knight ended, and good stuff.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way to the end.
Really?
That's one
Art,
of the.
everything, characters.
That's one of the first books I read this week.
Mm-hmm.
My shout out for art this week though was Venom.
Yeah.
FF didn't do the glossy covers or the glossy interior pages until they got to that FF Unlimited book that Jim Lee did, and I'm pretty sure that was 96 or 7.
I have one of those. You're right, that is glossy, but yeah, I'm thinking it's got to be in the early 90s. I'm pretty positive.
I mean, I remember being in high school and getting FF every month, and it was still like newsprint.
Yeah.
Then, like in 95. So maybe some of the books were starting to transfer at that point. But
Well, the Dark Knight in '86 is glossy.
I got a really cool trade-in on that, by the way. The Dark Knight. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we close up here.
I saw it.
Did you see it? It's
I was here.
Pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it was nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty solid episode, gentlemen. I know we're wrapping a little early today, but it's cool to have the three of you guys here for the four of us to do it, and hopefully next week Donnie and/or Austin will step back in and join us.
You guys make it worth gnawing through the leather straps in the morning to get out of bed. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you with that little mental picture.
I like it.
Appreciate you mailing us that mental postcard.
Life's
Return
just
to
a holiday
sender on
back
it.
I'm sorry.
at the funny farm.
I'm sorry, and you're welcome.
All right. Oh, on that note, I'm George, and I was joined today by Tim.
Yay.
Walls.
Hey.
And Gary.
Yep.
And our good buddy Connor, who's stepping in.
Hey.
He's coming in to help us out today.
One utterance.
Yeah. Good man.
So we will see you guys next week, and thanks so much.
Euro.